So this is the studio from WVBR in Ithaca. This is where we host every week the last exit for the Lost at mid. Hi, Ian. Ian's one of our co-hosts on the show. What we do is we present a lot of independent local music and a lot of underground music every week for 6 hours, midnight till 6. And we have a hell of a lot of fun doing it. We've been doing it for about 10 years. What we wanted to do, though, is we wanted to put another format out there. In this case, a DVD. So you have a visual aspect, and you can put it in anytime you want. You don't just have to tune in midnight on Saturdays. If you do want to tune in midnight on Saturdays, well, we're here every week, 93.5 in Ithaca or on the line online at www.thelastexit.org. So what you're going to see here is a collection of local bands, a couple national, local, independent bands, and one national act being Crisis. And hopefully this is going to be presented in a way that this is just Joe. Don't worry about that. Thanks, Crow.
No problem.
That's Crow from the Pushrods. We'll be seeing the Pushrods a little later on as well. Probably not too much of just Joe, though. So, what we're going to do, we're going to start with If Man Is 5, band I just recently came into my awareness. And the name of this DVD is The Campaign for Musical Awareness, the subtitle for it. And the reason for it is because I think there's a lot of local and independent music out there, underground music, that is well worth checking out. And I hope this DVD is going to prove that to some extent. And we will start with If Man Is 5 and go from there. So, here you go.
Hi, my name is Angela Timon, and I'm the lead singer of If Man Is 5.
Hello, I'm Brianna Salazar, and I'm the guitarist of If Man Is 5.
Hi, my name is Daly Schofield, and I am the bassist of If Man Is 5.
I'm Evan, I play the drums.
Okay, how long have you been together?
2.5 years?
Around there.
Yes.
Roughly.
And you're from where?
Binghamton, New York.
Mm-hmm. And the name If Man Is 5 comes from?
The Pixies song.
And who named the band?
We all kind of did.
Your drummer just pointed at you.
Well, yeah. I brought the name up, but they...
Yeah.
But we were all like,
it?
yeah, that's cool.
It was approved by the band.
They're the Pixies listeners, so I'll credit them.
Who's the newest member of the band?
Daly.
We popped her cherry.
You have a CD out?
Yes.
What's the name of the CD?
Azraella.
Okay, and this is, how long has this been out?
For a year. Yeah, we celebrated the 1 year release of it back in May. And it's 7 songs, and we're about to release our full length on November 26th at our CD release party.
What's that going to be called?
Let Evan do it. He named it.
It's going to be called Blood is the Ink, and Blood is the Ink, Hate is the Story. Yeah.
Okay. Who does the songwriting?
We all kind of do. Either B or Angela will come with lyrics or a riff, and everybody kind of throws their own 2 cents in. Then it just goes from there. And we make some arrangements so it doesn't sound like a pile of steaming dog doo-doo, but it always comes out good in the end.
Okay, and you're both classically trained?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
For singing and guitar or anything else?
Guitar, singing, and Evans and marching band and jazz.
I'm also classically trained in jazz drums and marimba and steel drums, so I'm pretty versatile.
We're nerds.
Okay. We're really big
We're like the nerdy, geeky people in high school.
Daly's in chorus too. So.
Yeah, she's in choir. We're all geeks.
Really
and we game and do Rocky Horror and do geeky.
We're the biggest dorks you could possibly manage, but that's why we're fun.
Yeah.
Lyrically, where's your inspiration come from?
Mostly when people piss me off. You can't write any of these songs being happy about anything. So if we're upset at anyone or anything, that's usually where it gets started.
Even Britney Spears hates people and writes songs about it. So.
What kind of musical inspiration do you each have?
Me, right now, I'm big into Black Dahlia Murder, a lot of metal stuff, metal hardcore. Mm-hmm. So that obviously comes through in the vocals and the drumming. But I'm a big Buddy Rich fan, Ramsey Lewis Trio, lots of jazz too. So that's what influences me.
Okay. You?
My biggest influence is gotta be Kitty. And mostly just female-fronted bands, like Jack Off Jill, My Ruin, even like Smashing Pumpkins, even though that's not female-fronted.
Female contributed.
Yes. And I guess that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I'd hate to say, off the top of my head, probably 4 bands that really inspire me are like the Pixies, Sepultura, and Bikini Kill, and then even though he wasn't a band, Beethoven.
I'm gonna say anything Mike Patton involved, and then also obviously the Beatles, and then on a more random note, they might be Giants.
Do you think women do you think women are more accepted in heavy music now?
I think they are now. You know, you got magazines like Rocker Girl and then like bands like Kitty and, you know, coming out. So I think it's making it more acceptable than it was. You know, back in the day it seemed just acceptable to have a female bass player, maybe kind of a little acceptable, but now it's more acceptable to have almost like all female bands. Or
on kind of a side note though, like if you're a guy or a girl, whatever, it doesn't really matter as long as you rock and you rock hard.
Right, right.
On the other hand, though, there is still a bit of skepticism to immediately accept female musicians, because some people immediately go, "Oh, you're a chick band, you guys rock," but then we still get people sometimes being like, "Show us your boobs," you know?
right.
And that's
And I
never...
oblige by taking off my shirt.
Good.
Yes.
That's the only boobs they'll see.
What do you think of the current music scene?
I think it's getting a little watered down with Screamo and everybody trying to copy everyone else, and a lot of the indie labels aren't really indie labels anymore, like Victory and all those are really distributed through major labels. So a lot of people seem to be trying to get into underground music to make money, which why would you go into underground music to make money? It just doesn't make sense.
So even if you never made it to the point where it did support a career, would you still say it was worth it?
Yeah.
This is definitely like the most serious and committed band I think we've all been in.
If this was our last show, I would be happy with everything that we've done up to this point. But it's not our last show, so don't worry.
That was touching, Evan.
All right, so what's the strangest thing that's happened to you at any of your shows?
I have one.
Okay, go.
Back at home, there's this one kid who yelled at me jokingly, "Take off your shirt," and then all the guys in the audience yelled at me to take off my shirt, and
Like
none of
at
the
every
girls.
subsequent
At
show.
every show we played at home, it was all these dudes saying, I don't want dudes telling me to take off my shirt.
Not that there's anything wrong with
No,
that.
not that there's anything wrong with that. But I'd rather hear it from the female.
Your website is what?
www.blackazul.com/ifmanis5.
Spelled or number?
Spelled.
Spelled. Okay. Who, do any of you do the website?
I do.
Okay. And Black Azul is what?
Is a recording studio and also our independent label that only has If Man is 5 on it. It's just pretty much for us. And so that's kind of why the band is hosted off the Black Azul site.
Okay. And it's an actual recording studio where other bands record as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else you want people to know about?
Evan's deformed left
Oh
ear.
yeah, I only have half an earlobe, so don't be.
Was that a wrestling accident?
It was not a wrestling
It
accident.
would be much cooler if it was a wrestling accident.
I tell people my brother bit it off, and sometimes they believe me, but it was really,
That's bigger than
really, I was just born like that. So don't be alarmed if you see me with half an earlobe, because
Yes, it's pretty scary.
it wasn't painful in the least.
She's got deformed boobies. They're pierced and one's bigger than the other. That's her deformity.
That's her
Because
deformity.
And I have a freakishly large left-handed armed birthmark.
And I only have one hand. We're the band of freaks.
We're freaks.
We're lopsided.
The left lopsided band.
Listen to our music.
It's
we're
all on the
freaks.
left side.
It's all on the left
Yes.
side.
It is all on
His
the left
left
side.
ear, her left arm.
I walk
my
like
left
this
hand,
because
your
I don't
left
have an
boob.
earlobe on that side. So,
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
cool.
I swim in circles. That's actually not true. I lied. I just veer a little.
This isn't a bridge version of a song we have Public a Trick.
Wow!
What are you doing? Shoebox. Shoebox, stop it. You're scaring them. You're scaring them.
I made a bunny out of bubble wrap and meat.
All right, so our guest host for this edition is going to be Shoebox here. Don't eat my hair. Of Worm Quartet.
Me.
Worm Quartet, right?
Worm Quartet.
Right.
.com.
How long has Worm Quartet been a band? Are you the only member of Worm Quartet?
Yes.
Yes. How did this come about?
It was one of those things. It was originally just me, and I was making these crappy tapes, and then I decided I should actually get members, so I got a guitar player and a drummer and played bass type things on the keyboard, and we were like a three-man quartet. Obviously the name came before the actual
band.
Yeah, one of those things, for whatever reason. And then ultimately ended up kicking out the guitar player, put my drummer on guitars, putting a Yamaha thingy on drums, and ultimately got into a fight with him and kicked his ass out, and then moved to Syracuse, which ruined everything, and then of course
Where were you originally?
Elsewhere.
Elsewhere. Okay.
Massachusetts.
I see. Okay. And so you eventually ended up with just you?
And it ended up just me and a computer. Basically, one of those things where you downsize and you replace people with machines. I did that. And it works wonderfully because they do whatever you tell them to. They don't have their own ideas. They don't have their own input. They don't try to write songs. They don't have egos or odors or any of this crap. Unless there's something damned wrong with them.
Have you ever had a quartet?
We jammed with a bass player one time. I don't think that counts because he sucked.
Okay, so how long has this been going on?
To any degree of actually making music that people could listen to without, thoroughly cringing to the point of permanent disfiguration, I'd say since 97 or so.
97. So
that's 96 maybe? 96 in fact. That's when the three-man put out the demo deal thing.
Okay. And since then,
as for how long people have actually heard of me, probably more like 3 years or so.
Okay.
3 or 4 years.
And we're actually going to come back throughout this whole DVD and talk some more with you, and you can tell people some of the interesting stuff you've done.
Right. And since then I've been on the Dr. Demento show.
Like
I
that,
had the most
yes.
requested song of the year.
Yes, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Right. As far as influences, I'd say, I don't know, they might be Giants and Anthrax. You're going to seriously hear the Anthrax.
Anyway.
And,
so
Halloween, Stratovarius, and Screeching Weasel, and Descendants, and...
Can we move on now?
Yes.
Okay, so the next band up is going to be Divinity Destroyed. And we went down to New Paltz, actually, in a very...
On purpose?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it was a good thing, but we got this interview done with them, and it was a good interview, and we're going to see that. Plus, we're going to hear some one of the songs that they played when they played The Haunt back in March. We'll let them tell you all about themselves.
There's their names covering up your nipples right now.
Yeah.
Hi, I am Dan from Divinity Destroyed.
I'm Tom. I play guitar.
I'm Johnny.
Mark Ward, Esquire.
I'm Jim. I'm the new guy.
You're the new guy? What do you do?
I play bass.
All right. You're the guitarist, vocalist?
That's the
The answer
rumor.
is yes.
That's the rumor. Thank you.
No problem.
I'm the keyboardist.
I play guitar, like I said.
I'm the drummer.
You're the newest member?
Yes.
How long have you been in the band?
2 months.
2 months, about.
2 months?
About that.
And you're the second newest, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been in it for a year.
Okay. How long has the band been together otherwise?
5 years.
5 years?
5 years? 5 years.
5 years.
Okay, and you have
5 years on November 20th. November 20th. That's our anniversary. We all get together and have cake. November 20th, 2004 will mark our 5th year anniversary. We're going to make a naked pyramid and then pillow fight and paint each other's toenails to commemorate the event.
Who named the band?
Mark came up with it. You.
You?
Yes.
And where'd the name come from?
Line.
A poem. A poem.
A poem.
Poem?
Yes.
What poem? Set it up on the stage.
Good. It was good. I saw it once. It was
Are you
awesome.
helping him make this up as he goes along?
Of course not. It was definitely a good poem. It's definitely a good poem.
Horrible poem. I wouldn't read it.
I never knew it was from a film. I believe it was Roses Are Red, Violets Are Blue.
Divinity Destroyed.
You Like Me.
Divinity Destroyed. 2.
Okay. You have how many releases out?
Technically 3 full lengths, a number of compilations.
Full length.
Is the EP considered a full
Yeah.
length?
3 full lengths, of course.
2 full lengths and 1 EP that we'd like to think is a full length only because it has nice artwork.
Yeah. Where did you record your stuff?
Eden and Ashes and the EP were recorded at Off Axis Studios in Sayreville, New Jersey.
All 3 of them?
No, Nocturnal Dawn CD, EP, whatever you call it, was done at Skylab in, what was the name of that town?
Jackson.
Not Jackson, it was Roosevelt?
Yeah, Roosevelt.
New Jersey.
Okay, where are you guys from?
5 years on November 20th.
Tom's River in New Jersey.
Okay. Is this a good thing?
What a good thing.
Tom's River is a nice town.
Yeah, Tom's River is a nice town.
It's got a river named after Tom.
Should be from Philly.
And it's this
I'm
river.
from Bricktown.
It's this river.
He's from Philadelphia.
Philly kicks ass.
How far is Tom's River from Philadelphia?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half, really?
Tom's River made headlines for having an incredibly potent cancer water.
He actually grew up in Tom's River, though. And then he moved to Philadelphia for school. He still lives there.
Yes.
I'm
He had a
from
kick-ass
Bricktown.
softball.
Yeah. I'm from Bricktown.
Okay.
It's about 20 minutes from Tom's River.
20 minutes?
20 minutes, it is, dude.
Shit.
So anyway, Eden and Ashes is going to be released on Screaming Ferret Records.
And that's your latest release?
One of, yes.
Did the EP come out after that?
Same time.
Same time.
Recorded at the same time, released at the same time. They both suck equally.
It was a great release show. I was in the audience and enjoying it. Well done, guys.
Me too.
Me too.
Oh yeah, I was there.
He was watching.
Yeah, in fact, when we released those 2 CDs, these both characters were in the audience, not on stage.
Do you look good?
Thank you. No problem. I try. I use separate shampoo and
We don't have
conditioner.
a release date yet. We had to send in the information for the CD, all the files for it. Just the other day.
Releasing it as is?
Pretty much, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's primarily a distribution deal. Yeah. They're not fronting any money for us, really. I mean, to record a new CD. They're just going to press the CD, distribute it for us. And so basically, the goal is that when we record a new CD, people might actually give a shit about us. Because as of now, outside of our hometowns, they do not. So maybe someone actually might care.
Who writes the lyrics?
Mucus.
Mostly Mark.
Mostly you?
Yeah, I'm guilty.
Where do you get your inspiration from?
The songs. What the fuck's so funny about that?
He's basically saying that the music writes the lyrics.
Yeah. To me, the music dictates the words that are going to come out.
So the lyrics aren't about anything?
You might, yeah. I'd say the music dictates the lyrics. Most of the lyrics are written phonetically. If it doesn't have a natural bounce to it, if it doesn't follow the rhythm of the song, I'm going to take it out. I'm a musician first, poet last. Somewhere in the middle, I play some racquetball, badminton. Lyricist falls pretty close to last, so whatever the music churns out is
But the lyrics definitely come out of your warped mind.
yeah, I guess you could say that.
Lyrics are kind of up for interpretation. I don't know if they're really about anything, but people can kind of decipher it and decide what it wants it to be. It could reflect something personal.
I actually go out of my way to make sure they're as ambiguous as possible. I actually even go so far as to write out all gender notifications. Any kind of stipulation in there that that would specify a location, a person, a pool, any kind of gender, time. I try to take it all out. So basically, if somebody asks me what the song is about, I can honestly say I have no idea whatsoever. And if they would like to offer their interpretation, I can say they're absolutely right, and also make fun of them for being absolutely wrong while they walk away from me, and I don't get beat up for it.
Who writes the music?
We all do.
We all do. And that goes for lyrics also, I might add. I mean, we all have lyrical credit.
Yeah, he wrote lyrics to a song. I wrote lyrics to part of a song.
Yeah,
But
we have
the
lines
bulk
here
of
and
it is
there.
done by Mark.
Yeah, but as far as music goes, we all do our respected instrument.
Yeah, it's usually someone throws out a riff, another person adds to that riff, and then it just kind of builds up constructively from there.
As far as influences go,
As far as bands go, I'd have to say the Misfits. The Misfits. Metallica, Justice for All, definitely. That's it. Well, it goes a long way, but the Misfits is definitely up there. I think it's, yeah.
I would say Iron Maiden, Metallica, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and Anthrax.
As far as keyboard, Dream Theater, Children of Bodom. I guess Divinity Destroyed throws in it.
Okay.
What got me started playing would be Tom.
How long?
Your influence?
I forced a guitar in his hands and made him play it until he's blue in the face.
And you two are brothers.
That's the rumor.
Only a rumor.
I had plastic surgery to make myself look exactly like him.
Oh, okay.
I used to be his sister.
And I shaved my head, so.
Influences, say Metallica and Iron Maiden started me off. That's what kind of got me playing right off the bat. But nowadays, any music you hear while playing 8-bit Nintendo games, Mega Man 2, Castlevania. Dude, I'm serious, man. I could name you the composers. Dude, Castlevania 1, intro song, Vampire Killer, excellent song. A lot of techno music.
I like Overkill, Old Thrash.
Old Thrash?
Definitely.
And you're jazz bassist too.
And I'm a jazz bassist, right.
You went to school.
I did. I apologize for going to school for jazz performance. It was an accident and it just kind of happened.
What's the weirdest thing that's happened when you played a show?
I severed off my left nostril while playing in Trenton.
That was kind of a weird thing. Yeah, I wasn't there for that. I had to work.
The second song into the set, I did something inspired by Ben from Dillinger, and my warlock ended up going through my nose and into my eyelid. Second song in, blood all over the place. It was good times. Played the rest of the set.
Yeah, you kept playing, didn't you?
And then I drove home in an hour. After that, played the whole set, and got $7,000 worth of plastic surgery done afterwards.
Wow, really? $7,000?
Yeah. It wasn't a $7,000 job, but that's what the bill said.
Is there anything you want people to know about?
I want to go to Japan, and only Japan.
Play in Japan or you just want to go visit?
Both. I want to live there.
Oh, okay. Why?
It's Japan, man.
Alright, good enough.
Send me chocolate chip cookies and ice cream. I love it.
I want to quit my job and do this for a living.
I just want everybody to hear Divinity because it's too good to waste.
Well put. We, believe it or not, we actually take this very seriously.
We like to joke around, but
We're serious guys. We're serious guys. Fucking serious. We're serious as heart attacks.
yeah.
That's serious. People die from heart attacks.
Who does the website? You do the website too?
Yes. Got a lot of free time.
What's the website address?
www.http://
HTTP is first.
DivinityDestroyed.com.
DivinityDestroyed.com. And in case you
Why am I asking him any questions?
I should learn it by now.
in case you don't know how to spell it, because a lot of people don't, it's DIVIN.
ITYDES.
Destroyed.
I'm Shoebox, and this is my microphone with a sock on it.
Why is there a sock on your microphone?
Because you know those windshield things that you put in front in order to keep the and not sound like a like you don't want to get the and it all right. Anyway, those cost money, and socks are free. Actually, no, they're not so much free, but you know when you're not wearing them on your feet, they're not really doing anything except sitting there waiting to be either laundered or placed upon your feet. And anyway, so yeah, this is my sock with a microphone in it. That's my offspring.
Yeah, well, didn't you write a song that said I'm gonna procreate?
I did indeed write a song called I'm Gonna Procreate. I repeated what you said.
And I didn't think it was serious.
It came out, it wasn't meant to be. It was meant to be, you know, a whole lot of people have said to me over the years, they said, oh dude, don't ever have kids, okay, please, just don't ever have kids. Like, don't even, I mean, because you can totally breed. It's like, you know, it's such a non-thought out sort of insult thing I was getting all the time. So I said, fuck you all, I'm writing a song about it, and thus came I'm Gonna Procreate. Great lead into a video if you have one.
We don't have a video for that. Sorry. Maybe next time.
Can I make one happen with my mind?
No.
Son of a fucking bitch.
I'm sorry.
Okay, well, anyway, that would have been a great lead in. And a missed opportunity for you.
I guess so.
And me.
And you.
And America.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I'm Gonna Procreate was basically a response to those people. And about the same week my CD came out, I discovered that it was far more prophetic than I originally intended.
Clearly.
And yeah, so anyway. And this that's Steve. I made him with sperm.
And your new CD is called what?
Faster Than a Speeding Mullet. I apologize for leaping at you there. I needed to make some sort of action.
Well, and that's been out since when?
Since about February.
February-ish
of 2004.
Okay, and how's that done as compared to your last few releases?
How is that done? Well, it's just a shiny thing, and you put it in your CD.
No, how has it done?
It's been kicking unholy ass compared to everything else I've released, but that's really not saying much. Anyway, it's definitely out there. Currently have the most requested song of the year on the Dr. Demento show with great idea for a song. If you have a video for that would be a great segue into it.
We do, I believe, happen to have a live footage video from that. So, should we go to that now?
Go, this hurts.
Okay.
I've known this way about you for so long, and if only your name rhymed with sadistic lines, I have a great idea for a song. Oh, your name might as well learn my psycho horses out of hell, because of all the crap you put me through back then. Oh, if only your mom and dad had made you something wrong with walkie-talkie maxi pad. Think of all the clever tunes I could have been. Rhymes with Lucy, and Patty rhymes with Fatty, Elizabeth rhymes with Kiss It Ass, and Eleanor rhymes with Scully Whore, and Marigold rhymes with Harry Holt, and Lauren rhymes with Scoring. Celia Linda Park rhymes with Celia in the dark. Easy Road to York rhymes with Easy Hold a Pork. Run Lane, make stuff back rhymes with Fun Land, my fuck my groin, I take a death mark, never relate with you. Please don't think I wanna be your friend now. I'd rather see John Goodman in a thong. And if only your name rhymes with backstabbing Carlos Graham, have a great idea for a song. Yeah, if only your name rhymes with Vivian Diamond Core, I'd have a great idea for a song. Yeah, if only your name rhymes with worthless, cheating, worm-running, butterfly, bound-sucking, stanky, smelling, slutty, wake up, flat, fat, bone. It's when I'm cutting my entire life season to NASA, so say to make a time machine. I can wreck right, let me send your parents 2 boxes of condoms. I have a great idea for a song. New record.
So that was a great idea for a song from you.
Ah, yes, it was.
And where did that inspiration come from?
Well, it was one of those things where this ex-girlfriend of mine who I hadn't talked to in like a decade suddenly fired me off an email saying, "Hi, how are you? I haven't heard from you in so long. I hear you're married. I got the wings at the bit." Didn't put her name at the end of it, so I had no idea who it was. Respond to it saying, "Who is this?" And she was, "I can't believe you don't remember me. Yeah, the friends." So I said her name, and I said, "Okay, now we're at the point where somebody obviously doesn't remember the exact circumstances of why we broke up, which I won't go into here, but." So this was one of those things where I could either respond to the email, directly to one person,
right,
or write a song and share it with the world.
And this song is what? Number 1 request on Dr. Demento?
At the moment, it's the number 1 most requested.
As of November 2004.
November 12th,
2004. And that's the number 1 request of the year. Did you have another song up there last year?
Yeah, last year, no. I didn't do a damn thing last year. 2002, however, Frank's not in the band anymore.
Okay.
Came in at number 2 for the year, so.
Wow.
I was battling it out against the great Luke Ski, who beat my ass, just barely mind you, with his wondrous little ode to Spider-Man entitled Peter Parker.
So we're going to get into actually a dual segment here. It's going to go from the Pushrods to River Chicken, because they kind of blend together here in the middle. You're going to see some stuff from actually the last exit for the Lost when the Pushrods were playing, and River Chicken kind of backed them up. And so we're just going to kind of blend that all together. And I believe you actually played the show.
I played
We're going to see the clip of River Chicken. And you can be seen in this clip throwing stuffed animals.
Right, because I handed stuffed animals out to people and encouraged people to throw them at the band, which is just a marvelous thing to do to get people up there. Not so much to make them pay attention to your music, but whatever, man. I got to throw stuffed animals at a band. It was totally kick-ass. Hi, River Chicken. You guys are neat. I like you. I want to lick your face.
Hi, I'm Richie from the Pushrods, and our next video is live, right?
One song is called "You're Lucky I Don't Own a Gun."
Yes, I know.
introduce yourselves and what you do in the band.
I'm Richie and I do everything.
I'm Tim and I do everything.
I'm Ryan and I do nothing. I play wrong, I guess.
That's about it.
Does that work out for you?
That works out just great, I guess.
How long has the band been together?
Too long. Since 95.
Okay.
Just Tim.
Yeah, just him. He's the only original member.
Yeah. You're based out of Horseheads. One CD out, right? Which is called what?
Triple X.
Whatever you want to call it.
Working on your second CD currently?
Yes.
And this
It might be a double album. We got so many songs.
Double wide.
And I'm not kidding either. We got like 20 songs to decide.
When are you hoping to have this out by?
Another couple months probably.
Yeah, hopefully by then.
End of 2004?
Yeah. First
So Richie, where do you get most of your lyrical inspiration from?
Well, it varies. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and have a silly idea to write a song. And other times something will happen. Most of the songs are true stories. And some of them are just like ideas I've had. I've had an idea like, suppose this happened or suppose that happened.
Okay.
I got good imagination.
But some of them are true stories?
Oh yeah, most of them happen to me.
So you've had a lot of good luck with women.
Really, they've all been long-term relationships, really.
How about musical inspiration?
Sex Pistols, Ramones. Started out playing Ramones.
And a lot of times people say you sound like Jello Biafra.
I never had, I don't have own any of his albums or anything. Dead Kennedys. I just happen to hear it, you know, through the years on and off, but I never thought about sounding like him. All of a sudden somebody's telling me that. I tried to sound like the guy in the Sex Pistols.
I'm self-taught drummer. I never took a lesson in my life.
Okay, what about musical inspiration?
Actually, I had an uncle who's deceased now that played drums. He was like more of a jazz drummer and played like in country bands. And he was probably like my biggest inspiration to really play. He was really good.
Now, what about band-wise?
Actually, my inspiration is more like progressive metal, Dream Theater, Rush.
Ron?
Never took a lesson in my life.
I know one valuable lesson you learned. Do not try to race a train with your escort.
Yeah. If you ever get in a racing thing with an escort and a train, just don't do it because you're going to lose. I lost. And it's a big mess.
When did this happen?
This happened about, I'd say about 6 years ago.
Were you still in the escort when the train hit it?
I was still in the escort when the train hit it. Me and 3 of my friends.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
So you're dead?
Actually, I died 3 times on the way to the hospital, but you know, the escort went from compact to subcompact real fast. It wasn't pretty. I'll tell you, don't try to stop a train. You know, you just can't stop 34,000 pounds.
You know, this explains so much about you.
It does too. It does. Well, that and the fact that I used to listen to Poison. Shh! Don't say that too loud.
Only used to.
You know, my parents were so cool when we were growing up. That's why I got mom and dad on my hands tattooed. Because they let us practice at their house all through the years. And when I was 12, my dad took me and my brother all the way to New York City to watch Kiss.
Where does the name of Pushrods come from?
From a car.
You would think with the songs, you'd think it would
Everybody
be
thinks
something sexual.
it's a sexual innuendo.
But it's not.
Because
It comes from a damn car.
the original bass player and I worked on cars all the time. And we had to come up with a name with like one day notice. We're like, okay, Pushrods.
Every time I say that to somebody, they're always like,
I have another name in the.
they start giving me shit about it.
I have another
Always
name that I like just.
It's a car. It's a car part.
In case we have to change the name someday, it's going to be the Strap-Ons. I almost thought about changing it a bunch of times because that's just so fun.
What's your website?
www.pushrodsrock.com.
Do you feel the internet's helped at all?
Oh yeah, definitely. MySpace has actually helped a lot.
Yeah, met people through that.
Yeah.
And you got a music profile up on there too, don't you?
Yeah.
Downloadable songs and everything. Richie, have you ever had to run away from Ron and Crow?
Yeah. Because I mouth off to him, then I know I can outrun him. there's anything
Tell
wrong
them
with
about lighting your arm on fire.
Oh, I got caught on fire before.
Really? How did this happen?
Oh, this is
We
great.
were playing 607's singer's house.
They kick ass too.
And the drummer knows how to shoot fire, blow fire, and I wanted to learn how to do it. So he was nice enough to show me how to do it. We're outside practicing, and I blew a little bit, and he did a whole bunch, and we had a little bit. We were practicing, and we had a little bit left in the bottle. Like
Bacardi 151.
He goes, "What do you?" He goes, "I'll set you on fire." And I was sitting on a bicycle. He goes, "I'll set you on fire because it's dark out, and you ride down the street." I'm like, "No, you're out of your mind or whatever." You know?
We were trying to get him to be like Ghost Rider.
I had this very jacket on, this one right here, this arm right here, and he goes, poured it all down like this, and I could feel it soaking into my skin. You know, I could feel it cold. And he goes, poof, and it's like flames like a foot and a half high, and I'm going like this. And everybody's watching me.
You have
Nobody's
six of us standing around with full beers, not wanting to waste the beer watching Richie burn.
Yeah. So I try to take my jacket off and it gets caught on this. And it's still on fire, and finally they get it off me and stamp it out or whatever. But my arm got real hot, but it didn't burn. It was so exhilarating. I never felt so alive.
That's when you were trying not to die.
Yeah, when I got done, I was like, that was so much fun. Now what we can do.
So this is the picture of you?
Yeah, that's me. That's me over there. That's my guitar. That guitar, you can't tell it's black and white, but it's actually blue. It's a Les Paul custom. That's my brother, and that's John, the singer. Real NHRA drag car.
Godzilla!
Yellow one. Ron always wants to break everything here. I gotta hide shit when he comes over. This is me drag racing. Here's my hot rod.
You drag race as well?
Sometimes. That's my hot rod. There's a friend of mine. I was drag racing him.
Coffin?
Casket.
Casket?
I always call it a casket. It's from the 30s.
And how did you get this?
The guy that does tattoos for me down in Williamsport, there was a junk shop across the street. And I used to have a hearse that I drove, and he said, "You gotta come down here, there's a casket for sale across the street. They only want $80 for it." I said, "I'll be right down." But I didn't take my hearse because I had it off the road because it was winter time. So I took my Chevette. Believe it or not, it was sticking half out the Chevette out the back. It was freezing cold out, it was frozen off. Fumes were coming in the back, and I was going down the highway like this, with the casket sticking out of the back, and everybody's looking at me weird.
But what did you do on a magazine for tattoos?
Yeah.
You were?
Tattoos for men.
Okay, for what tattoos?
My back.
I'll show you that. Wow. Yeah.
Is it there? No, it cut.
It's gone.
It's erased. You got arms too.
It must have washed off. You got arms? I hope you have arms. How else you play?
Hands. And fingers. Fingers hurt the worst. Ouch.
So, you have
The Crow.
The Crow, which is your nickname.
Come on! More crow.
More Crow.
More Crow. I take it you like The Crow.
I am the Crow.
Your punk rock got spelled wrong.
Alright, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't check it. I checked the girl, and I checked the P, and I checked the R to make sure that they looked right. I didn't even notice this. So, 3 o'clock in the morning rolls around. I go home. Next day, I put my shorts on. I go to work. I come home. My wife goes, "That's spelled wrong." I said, "What?" I went the whole next day, not even realizing that I had punk rock spelled wrong on my leg.
What's the new CD gonna be called? Do you know?
Girls in Vinyl Skirts.
We got a couple of hot chicks on the cover. This one's called I Met Her at a Truck Stop.
Yeah.
Ready, Crow? The Crow's gonna play bongo, so if you hear anything weird, that's him.
You can't drop your sticks that way.
Is there bongos?
Here we go. I was sipping coffee when she walked in. Oh,
I can think about what's said. She wore tight blue jeans and a Peterbilt hat. I said, hey baby, I drive a cat. She said, I'm looking for a fine young buck. I said, hey baby, you're in luck. I got my Peterbilt out in the lot. She said, ooh baby, you make me hot. Yeah, I met her at the truck stop. We drank coffee till the last drop. Then we made love in my cab over beat and left a stain on the seat. And left a stain on the seat. She rode around with me a couple of days. We made love in so many ways. She grabbed my shifter when we're driving around. My Peterbilt never let me down. I had to drop her off at the next town. She's in love with a trucker who's not around. I think of her when I'm on Route 95, making love to me when I drive. Yeah, I met her at the truck stop. We drank coffee till the last drop. Then we made love in my cab over Pete and left a stain on the seat. And left a stain on the seat. Yeehaw! Yeah, I met her at the truck stop. We drank coffee till the last drop. Then we made love in my cab over Pete and left a stain on the seat. Yeah, I met her at the truck stop. We drank coffee till the last drop. Then we made love in my cab over Pete and left a stain on the seat. And left a stain on the seat. And left a stain on the seat. Spill my damn coffee. Wow. You hear the chickens were backing me up.
Yeah. So apparently it's...
We had a lot of cock back up there.
So you're...
You are. You bastard. We are the bastards. We are.
You're the bastards? River Chicken.
Is that is bastard son of River Chicken.
And how many of you are here as opposed to how many are in the band?
3 of us are here. The 3 that really count.
Way too deep.
3 most important members are exactly. We're all here. The rest of the band is expendable. Doesn't matter.
I see. And name-wise, what are the names you use in the band? Cockwork Orange.
Hey.
Eggs Benedict.
I'm Engelbert Slapty Beak. John.
Just John?
Straight and simple.
And what do you do in the band?
Not much besides bass. Besides get written out of every article. And that, yeah.
And you?
I play the kazoo and sometimes percussion.
Triangle?
Triangle, always triangle.
Well, support, dinner's ready.
Exactly.
And you?
Canastas and third chair French horn.
I'm the only mandolin player in the band, so my job is secure.
All right, so you guys are from where?
We're from Tampa, Florida.
Sometimes. The support is incredible up here in Ithaca.
What's the difference like between here and Florida?
There's support. There is support from other people besides the musicians.
Really? So it's not that...
Musicians are close friends, yeah.
It's a camaraderie.
Don't crack too much from Tampa.
No. That's what we're saying. In Tampa, there is a camaraderie of musicians, but there's no other support for it whatsoever.
So it's hard to get fan support from
any other medium. Any other medium whatsoever.
This is your first East Coast tour?
Yeah. Yes. It is the first.
You got our Virgin tour.
Virgin tour.
How far north did you get?
Manchester, New Hampshire.
How did you come up with the name River Chicken?
Stupidity.
Bottle of Oldschlager.
Stupidity.
Raid can. 12 hits of acid.
Marijuana.
What's it mean?
The ingredients. Metaphysically?
It means you're going nowhere as a band.
I see.
It means that we are a band for long haul. More importantly, it means that it will change your life.
It's actually what connects quantum mechanics and quantum physics.
The River Chicken.
River Chicken is all about the party and nothing else.
How long have you been together?
17
Going
years.
on 3 years now.
3 years?
In dog years?
That'll be 21.
Yeah. 3 of them have been there for a lot longer. 2 of us.
Since we're all dogs.
I didn't even notice that.
There's a did you say there's a perfectly good bridge right under here?
Yes.
Right under there.
We're not the smartest of all them.
No, we are.
Lyrical inspiration. Where do you get it from?
Acid.
Alcohol. I wasn't gonna say that, but that's pretty damn close. No, it's a childhood thing. It's something that we've all pretty much experienced somewhat together. And
Grown up together?
Even if it wasn't together, it was something that we've all experienced. And it's been just together.
In the sense that you've grown up together or just had similar experiences?
No, actually, he's the only one that experienced it. He was abducted by aliens, and that's the whole thing. That's where all the lyrics come from.
We just tell him we were abducted.
He's
too,
actually.
so it doesn't get out of control.
Where did the stuffed animal thing come from?
We knocked over one of those machines one night before a gig, and we were like, what are we going to do with all these stuffed animals? We tried to give them away, but they were such garbage that people started throwing them back at us, and we were like, what a great idea.
Now, Denny's across America hate us.
Exactly. We knock over those little machines.
We just raid them.
We're like a bunch of bank robbers, except we robbed them.
Only
web page. What's your web page?
www, yeah. www.riverchicken.com.
For all you morons.
And how do you think the internet has helped you as far as the band goes? Being
Very
a band?
well. Good people. Internet, they're good people.
Just managed to
Don't listen
keep
to
our
French.
other guitarists busy.
Mr. MySpace and
MySpace.
it's good things.
It's all about
It does,
Yeah,
it does good.
We're on our space.
It's definitely a good way
Forgive
to
me
find out
for calling it
about
my
stuff.
space because I do not own it.
We have a few MySpaces.
It's all about MySpace.
I don't know. I still have dial-up, and I can't even get on the internet. I don't know.
That's the chance to get our name out to people who don't care. So it's really helped us a
It
lot.
gives us an opportunity to chat with you guys on Saturday night.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Have you ever pissed anyone off with the stuffed animals?
No.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, we have. We knock over beers all fucking day.
That's not
true. No, that is very true. Pitchers, beers, shots, anything.
Yeah, you
near a
forgot to tell
bar.
them to keep their beers in their hands.
He never tells them anymore, so now we gotta buy them all beer.
You have a full-length CD coming out.
Yes, we do. It's came out like 6 times, and it'll come out again.
It's the same 12 songs, so if you already have our full length, you might not want to pick this new one up. It's the same 12 songs.
But you can get it at the website. We'll give it to you for free.
Riverchicken.com.
Is there anything else you want to tell people about?
No.
Any personal messages to
Can
the
I finish?
audience?
Can I finish? All right, I'm done.
You?
Check us out. You'll have a lot of fucking fun. Come to one of our shows.
What about thank you for everybody?
Throw some shit at us. Tell us how bad we fucking
Yes,
suck.
we want to thank a lot of people from New England to New York to New Jersey to New Mexico, which we've never been to. But we want to thank them anyways. People have done good stuff for us on this trip. And I'll leave it at that.
And now the lovemaking.
That's a hell of a rider.
You just met that girl.
You guys are tearing up this place, man. I don't know if they're gonna let us back. You guys are fucking shit up. Let's kill it. We appreciate it. That's what we live off of, man. It's the excitement, the energy. You're standing a little far away, man. I kind of want to see some faces. I know you don't get to throw them as hard, but this one's on some CD we're selling back there. $5, shirt, CD. You can't beat it. Count the human swimming in the water, watch the human in the cold. Can't forget who look at the human, count the human don't know. All that he sees is what he covers, that's the reason why. All that he covers is what he sees, it's a passerby. I don't know how
come your seat's higher than mine?
Because I'm taller.
It's one of those talk show things where the host has to. But I'm okay.
You're supposed to be taller than me,
the
right?
host.
No, you're pretty much the host. I'm the co-host and interviewee.
And interviewee. Okay.
Interviewee.
Well, that was River Chicken that we just saw there. And don't eat my hair. We did, you know, when they started throwing those stuffed animals out and you were back by the merch booth, I was just wondering how long it was going to take before you, A, detected there were stuffed animals being thrown about, and B, came up front and participated. And it took like 2 songs.
Something like that. I mean, there's some sweat dabbing time. If you've ever seen me after a show, I mean, you know, I have this wondrous power stick that prevents me from creating an entirely huge odor of any sort, but I'm a very moist individual.
Yes, you are. And
still smell better than most drummers.
How do people react to you just playing with, you just bring a CD player to play live, right? So how do people react to that generally?
It kind of depends on what the crowd is. I mean, you know, it depends on if they're like the pure punks or like, that doesn't have any fucking strings on it, man. What the fuck? It doesn't have any fucking, or if it's somebody who's, well, okay, well, let's just say confusion, shall we? I mean, basically it's confusion. It's like, you know, what the fuck sort of thing. I think what the fuck pretty much describes it.
Sure. You've done a bunch of conventions now, haven't you?
I have, yes. The sci-fi geeks are my bread and butter, or at least would be if I had any chance of doing this for a living. Alas, that is not the case.
So is it something that you want to make a ton of money off of, or?
Sci-fi conventions?
No, the band.
The band? A ton of money?
Or is it something you're
If I
happy
could
with
make
regardless?
it's something I just do. I mean, if I wasn't happy with it, if I expected to make money, I think it would have stopped probably about 10 years ago.
Isn't that when you started?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is not something that is going to make me a millionaire or any sort of thing. This is something that every once in a while, I'm just hoping for diaper money, basically. You know, I want to be able to continue to have something to soak up my son's piss. That's really all I want.
So it's for you, it's a creative, fun expression.
Right. Basically, an idea comes into my mind, right, for the song, and then I just go to my computer, and I pick up the keyboard, and I smear the idea into the keyboard.
How would you say the crowd's different between like club shows when you play them and the conventions?
Well, club shows tend to have far fewer people dressed up like Klingons, for one thing.
I can see that, yeah.
Actually, what kind of kills me about the conventions, the first time I did it, it disturbed me because I was playing to people that were sitting down.
Really?
That was kind of strange to me, but you know, people come to these conventions. Comedy music has kind of started becoming a staple of some of the conventions, which is really friggin' cool because it means people come there, you know, some people at least come there to see comedy music and are actually following people like, you know, Boomski, Tony Goldmark, and myself are around and coming to these shows, and so yay! So it's a happy thing. It really is. I mean, you know, and there's a surprising number of women at these things.
Actually, the next band we're going to get to here is one that you've met a couple of the members of. Lotus Project.
Oh.
And I believe you're familiar with David and Chris from Lotus Project.
Indeed. Their drummer's a puppet.
At times, I've heard that, yes. And Lotus Project are fairly new, so we're going to see one of their songs live, and it's actually one of their first real live performances, and well, we'll let them tell you about them right now, I believe. Do you think so?
Certainly.
All right.
Sure, I'm Chris Bedell, drummer and vocalist for Lotus Project.
Patrick Ward, guitarist, partial vocalist, sample guy, make machine go guy.
David Ruglicki, bass guitarist, token long hair metalhead guy. And the backing vocals on Burning Line.
An icon.
Missing someone?
We are.
Yeah, we're missing our guitar player, Nori Ueno.
He's on his way to Boston right now.
How long have you been together as a band?
Pat and I started this shindig a couple years ago, and it started as a kind of a Sepultura cover band, of all things. And of course,
That got boring in a hurry.
Yeah, I got boring in a big hurry. We liked Sepultura. We were into Sepultura at the time, obviously, and we decided to say fuck it and do our own thing.
And how has the experience of drumming and singing been for you?
Hard.
I've been alright with it, actually.
Yeah, me too. No sweat.
Yeah, it's fucking hard. It's a Herculean effort. It really is. I'm not downplaying the fact that I have to stay in really good shape in order to do it, and but I like doing it. I think it's kind of unique, and it's something I really have developed and worked on very hard for this project, this band, and it's something I'm going to continue to do, I think, unless something or someone better comes along.
Okay, and you two started it, and when did you and Nori join?
In February of 2003.
Okay, and how long has this been going on, would you say?
A couple years?
As a four-piece.
As a four-piece a year.
A year and a half,
Yeah.
as you could say, really.
And you have so far a 4-song done?
Yeah, got a 4-song demo.
How many songs do you actually have done, written?
We got about 17 songs. Yeah.
A few more in the
And
works.
a whole crap load of other
Yeah.
stuff, so.
Okay, are you planning on putting something full-length together at some
Yeah,
point?
yeah, we're looking for some label interest, and a label that will support us.
Chris, it sounds like you've had a bad experience with this before.
And
Have you had bad experiences with labels in the past?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, and I'm not prepared to do it again. Yeah, we're looking for a label that is really interested in us as people and our music, and recognizes us as professionals and really decent guys who just want to make a living doing this, and that's exactly what we want to do.
You have a website.
Yep.
That is where?
That is www.lotusproject.net.
Net.
Yes, net.
It's very important.
Yes, it is very important to get the net right.
Yeah.
One of you doing the website or someone else?
A friend of mine.
Okay. How do you feel the internet works for you, against you?
Definitely for.
It's just a nice, easy way to get the message across.
Because I have a bunch of friends on an internet metal forum that I frequent, and I have friends in like Norway and Sweden and Belgium listening to this stuff and telling me how much they love it. So I think the internet's a very, very positive thing. Download as much as you want.
How would you describe your music?
Oh boy.
Bludgeoningly heavy, progressive tendencies.
Ambient funk?
No. Certainly ambient when it needs to be.
avant-garde, meticulously pronounced polka.
Polka
With a
Armageddon.
side flare for
I was getting to
yodeling.
that. Fintroll is our major influence, if you didn't notice.
Alright, let's back up.
30 seconds.
I'm big at musical
Metal.
Wow.
Fear Factory, Nevermore, Soilwork, Meshuggah.
Yeah, no, you have the same influences,
Yeah.
basically.
For me, Iron Maiden, Death, Soilwork. More specifically like Billy Gould from Faith No More, Steve DiGiorgio, Steve Harris, Mark Henry.
How long have you been playing?
Bass guitar?
Yeah.
2 years.
2.5 years. You with all the stuff you're doing?
7.5, 8.
Long fucking time, my friend. Since I was 4 years old.
Really?
Yeah, I've been playing professionally since I was 13. And I'm 32, so it's a long time. I've been playing a long time.
Where did you record your stuff?
At my house, on the Brink Studios.
Okay. Who does the production work on?
This guy right here.
Make Machine Go Man.
Yeah, make Machine Go Man.
Make things sound nice.
Yeah, Pat's he's fucking awesome with that. He really is. I don't know how he knows how to do it, but he knows how to do it very well.
I make good guesses.
Anything else you want people to know about the band?
We are poised and ready for greatness, and whatever label is interested, please do something about it, because music is falling into the mire and into the black abyss of nothingness, and it's turning into shit. So please, please, please do something and sign us. We're gonna be a great band, we're gonna draw crowds, and it's really amazing music, and we work very hard for what we do, and we're very talented, and we're very excited to play, and c'est la vie.
That plus.
This one is called Storm! tormented me for far too long. Say, there's nothing here for us. Here we go. So why does everything feel so wrong? It's gone in the form of man. You're not letting away the weekend man. Joy on the corners, the doom of the notice, the fall of the caravan hand. Like the one on the button of moment. What was it for the cost of the moment? That is not even good anymore. That is not even good anymore. Storm in the form of a man. The other body dies and we can't pay. Joy on the morning, the fucking notice. What are the jams gone?
If I looked familiar to you just now, it may be because you've been sitting at home watching VH1. Admit it, you've been fucking watching VH1. You loser. I was on VH1 recently just because I happen to like Pac-Man. It didn't occur to me that, spending 10 years, making music would, be secondary to getting me fame to, Pac-Man liking, but, apparently liking video games is the way to go if you want to get on VH1. So that's what I did. So here's all the Pac-Man crap I've amassed over the last several years. Please don't come to my house and steal it.
It seems like VH1 said that your whole house was made of Pac-Man.
Yes. Right. They've implied that. They implied several things. I mean, it was a fun thing and all, but, first off, just to address some of the points made in that Totally Obsessed episode.
Yeah, there were some things I didn't know about.
Yes.
Like they could spend $10,000 on Pac-Man.
And if you do the math, what they said specifically was, Shoebox is,
Yeah, they didn't say Shoebox, correct.
Tim has spent over $10,000 playing Pac-Man every day on his lunch break. First off, what do you think I actually do on my lunch break? And let's get a profile here before you answer that question. Secondly, let's consider this for a minute here. I've been working as a software engineer for about 7 years. Figure 5 days a week. Figure I've never missed a day. Figure 45-minute average lunch break. Yeah, $10,000 works out to about a quarter every 2 minutes.
So you're not very good at that.
I guess not. And I'm never getting better despite playing it every 2 minutes.
And I also never knew that you drove around the mall with a megaphone.
Right. You see, you can do that all the time, anytime you want. Even if VH1 does not get permission from the mall for you to do this,
wow.
The security guards won't bother you. You certainly won't get arrested. Go ahead and try it, kids.
So what you're saying is the show may be exaggerated some point.
Just a touch, yeah, but it was still fun. And
it was a fun thing to watch.
And I figured, that'd be a great plug for Worm Quartet, get it up there, because, they let me do that song.
Yeah.
And, they had wormquartet.com plastered all over the screen. It was fantastic.
Except they didn't, and you read some lyrics about your Pac-Man song, and they played some generic guitar rock.
Yeah, that was in fact the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Was it?
It was.
It's too bad that they didn't have some of your music.
Yes. It truly is. It's certainly not like I gave them a CD. Not like I shoved a CD in their hands and said, here you go, here's the thing. Not like they actually had my background music playing when I performed the fucking song. It's not like they sings and stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Did that seem too forced? I'll do it again.
Sings and stuff. Thank you. Anyway, we're going to get into The Witching right now. Well, we're going to get into the segment with The Witching anyway.
Right.
And
they're a band.
They are a band. They're from Ithaca.
They have a chick.
And they have 4, actually.
All right. That was the other chick I was going to mention, and then the other 2.
Right. So we're going to see an interview with them and some live footage from them that's actually from Halloween. So no, they don't normally look like this when they play live. They don't normally wear diapers and roller skates. But, yeah, it's a cool performance.
Smell my tape.
No. Here's The Witching. Go this way. You want to introduce yourself?
Meryl, and I play the guitar.
I'm Ruby, and I sing and scream, laugh, joke, love.
Heckle. Bass. Ava on the bassa.
Hey, you didn't say your name.
Oh yeah, that's not important.
You just did the animal thing.
Barb.
Arr.
How long has The Witching been together?
3 years, right?
Yeah, like 2.5. 2.5 years.
Okay, who started the band?
We all sort of started it together. That's right.
It used to be a 5-piece until fairly recently.
Yeah.
I tend to scare away other guitar players, I guess.
I think we managed alright as a 4-piece.
Yeah,
the
it
shows
works.
we played. been happy with. I've been really psyched about the new songs.
Yes.
You have one CD out.
Yeah.
For now. We're working on a live CD right now, actually, just a compilation of different live things that we've done over the last few months and throwing it all on CD.
How would you describe your CD?
Heavy, progressive, melodic, soulful, rock.
How many
metal.
more adjectives can we put on? Rock and roll.
Okay.
Or if you sensible madness.
If you want to simplify.
Okay. How about musical influences?
Grew up on really bad 80s hair metal and graduated to slightly cooler progressive metal and new metal. But I really listen to everything.
Yeah, I like everything. I really listen to a lot of vocals. I really like music.
I listen to everything. Nothing really inspires me as far as guitar playing because I just pick it up and hope I don't break it. Usually fail, yeah. My SG has about like 10 different headstock breaks. As far as guitar players that I like a lot of metal guitar players. I don't know, like the dude, what was his name from Death? He was really sick. Chuck? Yeah, dude. Sick. He's really cool, but I definitely don't play like him. But I like his stuff. All over the place, really, for music that I like. I've been listening to a lot of Neubauten a lot lately. Not really metal or anything related at all, but it's fantastic. I just want to say I love the Breeders and Pixies. It's influences.
Patti Smith.
Music. Together as a group effort, as one person each with guitar.
Yeah.
Group effort.
What about lyrics?
Meryl writes a few, but I write most.
Where's the lyrical inspiration?
Life.
Sex.
Sex is a huge part of life.
Indeed. Life is a big part of sex.
Indeed. Well said! Well said!
Do you have the webpage for the band? And the website is what?
www.thewitchy.com.
Do you also do websites for anyone else? Or?
Yes, I do. If you need a website, go to my website, livemind.net.
At one of your shows, what's the strangest or oddest thing that's ever happened?
Wearing a diaper. Oh, I have to say, at the Halloween show, dressing up as a dead baby and getting up on stage with nothing but some Depends and Band-Aids was pretty hot.
Yeah. That must have been so intense.
Yeah.
I was
Good
so
times.
glad I didn't
Good
run
times.
over your toes with the roller skates.
You did.
I did? Oh, sorry.
One of my favorite moments was when AJ was subbing in for Ava when she was on maternity leave. Full drag, completely unprompted. We didn't ask him. He just showed up and looked way better in a skirt than I ever will.
Yeah, he was. He had that plan.
I had a strange audience thing on one of the shows. I can't remember. I know it was at Castaways. I put my chewing gum into my cup, which was half drunk Leo. And I think I also spit in it on purpose, I think, so nobody would touch it. And this guy up front row has been watching me all night. I was like, okay, having fun, good. So he takes and drinks it and is like taunting me, you know, like, I can't do this, just imagine what else I can do. Dirty. Yeah. Did he chew your gum? Oh, he had it all in his mouth. I didn't ask. I was just, I looked away. I was like, let's play our next song.
Where did the name The Witchy come from?
Long hours. Shit, I forgot.
Hours and hours.
We were narrowly escaped from becoming called Busted. Which turns out to be an outrageously popular European band now. But anyway. Well, thank God for that, because we're not busted and we're not busted.
And we're not busted.
But I think I came up with the name one night. Wasn't it
First the witching hour, and then we talked
it was
about
the witching
and then
hour.
we
Like,
got
no, man,
into
that's
the
too
witching.
long.
Yeah.
Too long.
That was too verbose.
There you have it.
Yes.
Based on the music industry and the music scene as it is now.
Major media sucks. It's owned by like 5 corporations who put out all the stuff that you'll see on TV or hear on the radio, and it's
garbage.
It's garbage, and it's a lot of carbon copy clone bands trying to cash in on the success of some formula that's been already made. And it's really hard for an independent band to make a living making music without selling your soul.
How do you think the internet's helped or hurt music?
It's exposure, free exposure. You know, anybody can check out any bands. Anybody can network with anybody else. It's much easier to get contacts with people. It's not such an exclusive thing.
It's much better for the other.
Yeah,
I was just thinking.
and you can share your music. It's an easy way to share your music. Have it in downloadable format. It's easy to get people into your stuff.
It's one of the most low cost and most effective ways to reach a potentially global audience with your music. As long as you have something good to say and you're excited about it, you're loving what you're doing, and you can promote yourself on the internet very cheaply and get a large audience for your independent music.
Would you be upset for people downloading your stuff for free on the internet?
Hell no!
No. We offer MP3s on the website, so
for free.
Free.
Well, I mean, even if you found out someone was just downloading the whole album off Kazaa or something instead of buying it from you.
You know, if they're downloading it because they love it, they're more likely to share it with their friends and pass it on
Or
to
come to
somebody who
shows.
eventually is going to come to a show and support us that way, or eventually want to buy a CD. And it's free exposure. It's like free promotion. So I think it helps the independent artist more than it hurts.
We just want people to come to our goddamn show. That's all we want.
This is a new tune called A Holiday Song. Something again, something again, something again. on guitar, baby.
Okay, so we are momentarily going to remove our normal large co-host for a much smaller co-host. You are Will
from Castaways,
Castaways.
and Ithaca in general.
You do all the booking for Castaways?
Do all the booking for Castaways. I have a production company that I do independent booking around this area for the most part, and that's about it.
Being in your position, your viewpoint of things is a little different than most of the bands going to things, since you're the one who's putting them on. As far as bands go, what advice would you have for bands as far as getting them booked and how they can help themselves in the industry in general?
I think the bands should, when they start out, should be willing to do a lot of work for free. A lot of bands have this sort of, they get into it and they immediately want to start seeing money back. I think that bands don't necessarily invest enough themselves on all levels. And I mean giving away merchandise to get their name out of there. I mean doing shows for nothing. And lots of bands in the underground scene do that. But I don't want to come off as a pinky ring wearing promoter by saying I want bands to play for me for free. If I make money on shows, I make sure that everybody makes money. Right. Probably why I'm in Ithaca and not in New York City doing shows. You know, we could get into the sort of music industry, the music industry's I guess clampdown on underground music over the last 8 years or so. As there was a time in the 90s where independent record labels and independent promoters, bands, everybody, bands that weren't pretty, were making money, and the industry got really good at presenting people with like a product that wasn't as good. So you're finding that as a band now. People, hear your particular style and they think of whatever the industry has presented to them as that style, and they don't even want to check you out because
you sound like so and so.
Yeah, and that's garbage.
How do you think the whole music scene stands right about now?
I think we're basically back in the mid '80s. Our culture has got a clamp on the music scene. We have an incumbent Republican being reelected, like Reagan. I'm thinking that people will break away, but I see it personally. It shows by the drop off of an all ages or an under 21 crowd at my shows. There used to be when I was at The Haunt, but I could count on almost as many under 21s as over 21s at the shows. And now the percentages just keep going more towards the older people and less towards the younger people.
Next up on here we have Crisis, who you have had some personal experience with. You actually booked them twice at The Haunt?
Yeah.
This interview was done in early September. Since then, their drummer, 2 days before, they went on tour with Otep and Kitty, which they're going to talk about on here as an upcoming. 2 days before that, their drummer burst his appendix. Went to the hospital. They rapidly searched for another drummer, found the guy from Epic of Unlight, who's also on the End Records, to fill in for the tour. I guess the drummer who was hospitalized is no longer going to be in the band. He couldn't handle the touring schedule, which they're going to talk about how trying it is. And so he's out there looking for another drummer. They'll be hopefully finding a replacement after they're done with Kitty and Otep. So that's pretty much the big update on Crisis after this interview. And is there anything else you want to say about them?
Anybody who thinks that they like a female-fronted metal band that they've heard on MTV needs to check out Crisis, because they haven't seen anything.
This is true. And in this, we're going to have a fairly long interview with them. They're very articulate and well-spoken, and I had a really hard time cutting this one down at all. We're going to see a video for Blood Burden, I believe, and some live footage from them when they played the Water Street Music Hall in Rochester, which is actually the closest they've come to Ithaca since you had them here.
When was that?
I'm Karen Crisis, vocalist.
Afzal, guitar. Chwanza, guitars.
And how many other people are in the band?
2 others.
G on bass and Josh on drums. Somewhere.
Okay, and can you give us a little history of Crisis? Have all 3 of you been in the band from the start?
No, Karen and I have been in the band from the beginning, which was along with Gia, our bass player, which is from 1993. Joanza, when did you join?
I joined in 98, in late 98, December 98.
Okay. And the band's been together how long?
11 years.
11 years, really?
Yeah.
You've been touring how long now on this tour? With Soulfly?
Been a month and a half.
And how many dates have you played in a month and a half?
Jeez,
At least
35.
6 days a week. We have 1 day off. So.
Is this good for you?
Yeah, definitely. It's been amazing.
Okay, and you're now on the End Records,
Yes.
as opposed to Metal Blade with your last two.
Yeah.
How is that different from being on Metal Blade?
It's really exciting. We've always just wanted to find a label who believed in what we did and understood what we were doing. You know, we didn't want to have to sell ourselves and try to explain our vision to someone. And Andreas is someone, when we met Andreas, we didn't know a lot about him or the End Records, except that they had a really good reputation for being very artist-friendly and all about the music. And come to find out that Andreas has been following our career for many years. I guess we'd met him when we first toured through California. We didn't remember meeting him, but we did meet him at that time, and it's been great. He really is a huge fan of what we do, really believes in what we do, and is not afraid of taking. He himself, as a businessman, as a label owner, is really into taking risks, and so he's all for us doing what we do because we're all about taking risks as well. He really is truly about all the music and the art, and everything that he's told us he wanted to help us do as a band, he has come through on right away. And it's the first time we've ever had a label that we really felt like we were working in tandem with, for the same goals, with the same ideas, we're on the same page with, and have complete support from. So we're excited to grow with them because they're growing as a label and we're growing as a band, and it's a really great union. We feel like we finally found a home.
So you're sticking with them, hopefully.
Oh yes. Where have you been all these years? The End Records.
Okay, this is album number 4, right?
Right.
And it's called
Like Sheep Led to Slaughter.
And this is inspired by?
Well, musically and lyrically, I guess it's inspired by, as all our art is, by everything we've gone through as a band over the last few years. We've learned a lot about our songwriting, and I think it shows our contempt for the power structures that be in the world and all the abusive control that goes on. And that's pretty much, that's the simplest way to say what the album is.
How do you feel about the internet as far as promoting your music and stuff goes?
I think it's great. I think it's the way to go.
Okay, how do you feel about like the whole file sharing?
I think it's great too. We're totally for it.
Totally for it. I mean, it's a chance for you to really get your word out there your way. You can use technology. I mean, the way the industry is they really control what gets out there, and the bigger you go into the industry, it's the big 4 now. It used to be the big 5 labels.
Yeah.
They really don't let a whole lot of creativity through. And there's so many bands out there. There's so many types of music, and there's a lot of exciting music that still breaks the rules and has a lot of passion and is inspirational that may not fit into a money-making category that those labels are looking for. So you have the internet. You have a way to get a web page, get information, get free music out to people. It's awesome. We're all like really for it. So
yeah, absolutely. It allows for more freedom for the artists. And I mean, this country stands for freedom. I think they should lay off, the artists and stop trying to curtail their expression by saying that downloading is bad for the music industry. I think it's a bunch of crap actually, because basically the music industry puts out so much garbage, that they try and make money off of, that it's the really shitty bands that it hurts. It really doesn't hurt the good bands, in my opinion. I mean, the people who really believe in the fans that believe in the music, they're gonna buy their records. They want the actual product. I just think that it weeds through all the crap that the major labels put out, and I'm glad that the file sharing is there, because that's the reason why all these shitty bands are getting dropped. I think they should get dropped.
Well, it also takes away their control factor.
Exactly.
Get what they want.
Yeah, let the public get what they want.
Let the public decide.
Yeah, the public sometimes has no idea of what's really out there.
Because they're being spoon-fed. I mean, they're force-fed and spoon-fed garbage 99% of the time, and they're kids are forced to buy into it. They go and buy an album for $17, $18 and find out there's one decent song on it, you know?
And they liked it for about 6 months.
Exactly.
So the people who have curiosity will seek and find what they like. You know, just like when, you know, I'm sure you remember, you know, growing up as a music fan, you know, used to dub tapes off of people.
Yeah,
you know, you could buy a tape for $5. You know what I mean? And it was,
that's how the
it was
thrash
like very
scene,
little risk.
That's how the thrash scene actually thrived and developed, you know?
No Life Till Leather. You think about No Life Till Leather, Metallica said, hey, make as many copies of this as you can and give them out to whoever.
And they're the same ones who were down on file sharing. I mean, it's ridiculous, man.
They became rock stars, and that was that.
The money, the money got to them, you know?
All right, so you're not upset if someone gets your stuff as long as they get it.
No,
we actually,
tell somebody about it.
We actually have seen hackers at work, you know, getting our album. Actually, some hackers had our album out there before it's even released.
Yeah.
I thought it was actually really cool. We were flattered. So.
And actually, they put a little thing at the end of it, like it was the names of the songs, and then afterwards it was like, if you like this, go out and buy it.
Yeah,
I've seen that a lot on files and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think, and you know, the way we look at it is, good music should be, you know, heard one way or the other. I mean, if good music is not allowed to be heard because the music industry will not allow it to be marketed, or the band cannot get signed to save their lives, there's a lot of good bands that cannot get record deals, you know?
Yeah. And the internet makes it possible for them to actually do something.
Absolutely.
Why not, you know?
And the industry's hurting because they're blatant price gouging, where you have CDs that are $20 now, you know?
Yeah.
And
I know the
$20.
the last Linkin Park CD I heard, they were selling it for $20, man.
Yeah. And then,
and how much does the band even see anyway?
If they're lucky, $1 or $2, you know, and then they blame the internet for raping artists, you know, the major label record industry, the big rapists.
I can hear the dogs in their hysteria, salivating for the taste of a rotten failure. Brutality of flesh and bone, making enemies when there was no
think I heard you described, or maybe you described yourself as experimental metalcore.
Yeah.
You think that's fitting?
I think so. Yeah, I think so because we tend to bring in elements of hardcore and more classical metal elements, or what I consider like early metal elements. You know, bands like Sabbath.
What do you think of the music scene as it is now?
What music scene?
Well, metal is definitely, you know, I mean, having its heyday in a way right now, but it's also like it's a hybrid form of metal. You know, it's sort of interesting because the metal that's successful right now incorporates the elements of hardcore and metal, which is what we sort of started, you know, with in '93. So it's sort of ironic, you know. A lot of the bands that are successful right now are bands that we've known over the years, or some of those bands used to open up for us, you know.
Right.
It's also interesting what a trend it's become. Like, you know, the fashion and the sound and everything. You know, it's back in the days when we were starting out as musicians. You know, it was a lot of importance placed on originality, having your own style, your own sound, you know, and that's what really defined you as a musician. You know, it's like your ability to create your own music, to have your band have its own culture. And it seems like there's just this huge culture that's happened, and this cluster of bands jumping onto it, which was back in the days that was reserved for, you know, glam metal. I won't necessarily compare the sound to glam metal, but there's
look,
that, there's that kind of conformity going on now.
Yeah.
You know, which is, you know, it is what it is.
That Fugazi documentary that you have?
Yeah.
Ian McKay was saying something really cool. I don't remember the words, but he was saying something about how music, like when it all starts sounding the same, it loses its
impact.
It's you know, rule breaking. It loses its threatening ability. It loses all the dangerous excitement that music can hold. You know, and it just becomes a familiar suit that everyone wears.
That's right.
And I thought that really applied to today. I can't say it the way he said it, but
I mean, metal in a way now, it's almost like
they found a way to sell the revolution to the kids. You know what I mean? It's like back in the days, this was sort of, it had its own, it was sort of a rebellion happening. You know, despite what was going on in the major label music industry, we had this music that was our own, that was special to us because it had this kind of impact. And so as soon as they found a way to package it and make a look and market it, you know, they can sell it to you. You know, you can have your little Ozfest and stuff and get your aggression out, and, you know, and go back to work tomorrow, and, you know.
So next you're going out with Otep and Kitty. And I guess this question is more directed towards you. How do you feel the role of women in metal has changed over the years since you've started doing it?
It's definitely changing. I mean, when we started in '93, it definitely wasn't cool to be a woman in a heavy band, fronting a heavy band. Now it's almost becoming a bandwagon thing, which is kind of weird. We really don't want to be a part of any kind of bandwagon, but it is exciting. There's a lot of women out there. You know, I think that'll, in time, there'll be room for even more women, you know, who, I mean, some of the women out there have gotten help, you know, from A&R people and producers and stuff, but you know, it makes room for all sorts of opportunities for other women, and I think it's great. The more the merrier. Because I think there are people who are ready for that change in the heavy music scene, like in terms of the audience. The industry, I think, has always been reluctant about the people accepting that. But I think that the more women who get out there, and there's thousands of them in the underground scene, but the more who actually get out there in a bigger way, the more changes, or the more people will be forced to think and contemplate about change, and that's a good thing. You know, change is good, so it's exciting.
And what's the weirdest thing that's happened to you on this tour?
Some guy grabbed my ass, so I grabbed his nutsack until I could feel my fingers on the other side.
I was there for that.
That was last night. That was last night in Cleveland.
And that's never happened, so, you know.
And you kicked him too.
I kicked him too, and I really scared him. I think he's singing opera now, you know.
He ran away singing soprano.
While you were on stage? Or?
No, hanging out at the merch booth. We always like to hang out at the merch booth, but this tour, like, everyone's getting like plastered drunk and they misbehave, so I can't hang out that much.
So all these damn new metal kids.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about this. One of the things about this tour, especially when, you know, when the tour was it was 12 Tribes, us, El Nino, and Soulfly. It's weird because a large portion of the audience is a very mainstream metal MTV type of audience that does not know anything about the underground or does not know anything like that's anything outside of this massive media thing that's going on right now, you know, and they're very young kids.
Well,
so
we knew that going into it. That was our challenge.
That's our challenge, and it's cool. We've been winning kids over every night.
Great.
You know?
Yeah, it's been great.
It is very different though. It's because
We're not
they don't
used
have
to
the
that,
they don't have the same kind of respect, or there isn't the same kind of community that there is in the underground. I was talking to one of the guys from 12 Tribes, and you know, they're doing the van thing. They're kind of, you know, independent in their own way. They're traveling in the van. They don't have hotel rooms, and we're talking about how it used to be when you were in a van tour, you know, you play the show and then kids would come up to you afterwards and be like, you know, hey, you need a place to crash, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you come crash in my basement, my mom's house, whatever, you know. And, you know, now they're just like, you know, you're the fucking, you know, the rock star, and they're the kids, and, you know, can I have your autograph? And,
Well,
you know, it's that
also,
separation.
That
it doesn't
and
exist in the
it
underground.
doesn't exist because they were also saying that they're looking for places to crash, but this is not the sort of tour with those where those kids even, they don't exist. They're not in the audience. Like you even feel weird, like, you know, when somebody's asking you for an autograph and they've just heard you for the first time. You can't ask him, hey man, can I crash on your floor? You know? It's like you just gave them your autograph, man.
Kind of takes away from the allure, the mystique.
So yeah, it's a very different world, you know, of touring with these bands. But it's cool. It's been an eye opener for us, you know. 10 years of touring in the underground with underground bands, and you know, now we're like,
we've hit the big time.
Anything else you want to tell people about? Anything else they should know about?
You're gonna see a lot more of us these days. We're actually working on a new video. It's gonna be like a whole live footage video that's been filmed in this tour. We are coming back very soon with Kitty and OTEP, and then after the new year, after we head out to Europe, it looks like we're gonna head out to Europe. Things are in the works at the moment. We're gonna be doing an underground headlining tour with some bands that we know. So that'll happen probably in the early spring, and that'll be fun, you know.
yeah, that'll be more like our speed again, you know, back to what we're.
Just keep an eye on our website, which is crisissite.com, and you can, you know, catch all the news.
Also, crisisfanatic.com is a good way to get up-to-date information on the band.
Come on, let me hear you! Alright, here we go. Corpus Apocalypse. Exit Catacomb.
that's Crisis.
I made him myself.
And that's
actually Kim helped.
Oh well, that's
Kim was my
good.
wife.
Yes.
I had sex with her.
Yes, and right. So that was Crisis, and that's pretty much the end of this DVD. We will most likely be doing a volume 2.
Nice found fertilizer eggs.
Yes. That's more pleasant than the previous statement, oddly enough. Well, so hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you heard some cool music. Hopefully you heard some new music you hadn't heard before that you liked. You got to see what Shoebox is like to be around.
Yeah, I made him. He's in mine.
Look at this. So, yeah, and my thanks to everyone who helped out with this, and that's a lot of people. And especially, however, like
Satan.
Besides Satan, I'd also especially like to thank Will at Castaways, Reed Record Archive, and Andreas at the end, because without them, this would have not been anywhere near as good or come along as well.
Don't forget Martha Stewart.
Yeah. And Shoebox,
the Republican Party. The makers of Pez.
What's your offspring's name?
This would be Steve.
Yeah.
I was originally going to name him Optimus Prime, but since I got to name everything else in the house, ultimately we decided that shouldn't happen anymore.
What are your cats' names?
Ampersand and Tilda. Actually, I'm lying. Kim got to name one of the fish.
Oh.
We have 2 fish. One of them likes to eat the other one's tail, chases it around, trying to eat its tail. So Kim named him Butt Munch. I named the other one. Ah! Oh, you looked at me.
Bye.
I gave you a good name.